Alright, we're back here on Wednesday night, and tonight I kind of thought I'd do a special video. Wanted to go through exactly how I analyze the charts every day, and kind of how I do my TA. So I'm just going to start here on Forex. We'll wrap back around to crypto later in the video, but I'm just going to run through my list and do exactly what I do every day. So I already worked this one out here. USD JPY, I like the setup here. We have this resistance zone that got destroyed. Now price is looking like it's coming back a little, although I don't know that it will come back to this level. We'll see, but that's where that's at for now. So let's move on. I actually did run through these first few ones here as well, so maybe I'll just skip ahead to like this one. Alright, so we got this clear support zone here. It's starting to fail a little bit. I shouldn't say fail because it hasn't really clearly broken this level yet. And these, keep in mind, these zones are very flexible. There's these tops and bottoms aren't hard like levels that price is always going to respect, and of course sometimes these zones just don't get respected at all, but they are very good indication of where price may have a reversal. So I don't think there's anything here on the immediate, but let's move on to AUD JPY. And normally I move through these pretty fast. Like if I don't see anything immediately, like I don't have anything right away that looks promising, so I'll usually just move on. But for now I'll just kind of explain things so I don't rush too much. So yeah, we have this big resistance. It did not get respected with this spike here on the way up or on the way down, so that kind of makes it a little problematic in the future if you wanted to use this zone. I mean, it has held up recently, but you know, that kind of makes you a little nervous that it won't be respected in the future. Let's move on. There's nothing on that chart immediately. If we want, we could take a look here, because there's a smaller zone here that was already broken and tested. So that could have been a trade you took, but you know, it's moving sideways right now, so that's, I don't know, to me that usually signals that it's having a hard time staying above this zone. But yeah, so nothing there. I'd probably move on. Keep in mind we're on the 1 hour time frame. I usually always stick in the 1 hour, and then on sometimes I'll scalp on the 1 minute on certain coins. I'm trying to implement my trading strategy on the 1 minute on Forex, but for right now I'm sticking to 1 minute scalping on Ethereum, so we'll get through there in a moment. So you can tell there's some sort of resistance here, but there's a lot of spiking going on as well. That's making the level or the zone a little more difficult to discern. So let's say there's one here. I normally like to start with the very top, the highest and lowest points, and then kind of work my way in to see if there's any other zones that make sense. And I do think there's some sort of zone in the middle here but I don't typically like to use those because, as you can see, price just flows in and out of it all the time, so it's not the most reliable zone. There may be something here that's a little more reliable, but again, you know, you still have these two spikes here that I'll keep it there for now, but you just got to keep in mind sometimes price does not obey, as markets always do. So nothing immediately there. If you wanted to, you believed in the support zone here, we could go ahead and put a long. What I do is I just put the entry right at the top of the zone, and I pick a stop that normally makes sense. I mean, we have this huge pin down here. I normally like to stick my stop, you know, somewhere below the lowest low. But my rules tell me to stick to a 1.25 risk to reward ratio. So so when that takes me above like the next immediate zone, I kind of don't like that. I like to stick within, you know, the zones here. So if I was feeling a little more risky, I'd probably take my stop down to probably just below this other low, and that would bring my profit target beneath that resistance zone, and I think that looks like a pretty solid setup. And that is, of course, if you believe in this support zone. And obviously, if we zoom out, we're in a very suspended downtrend, so you'd have to be a little greedy to take a long, but you know, I do it sometimes, and most of the times it seems to burn me, so I don't think I'll flag that one. So you can see I made this zone a while ago, and now it's just totally getting eviscerated by price action. So at this point, I'd probably just take this out of here. It doesn't make any sense to keep it there anymore. And there does seem to be more of a zone. I mean, these are still pretty sharp price. So yeah, I don't even know if I want to try to make a zone there. So probably leave that one alone. Let's move on. So you can see here, this zone's starting to lose its potency, I guess you could say. Probably take this one off. And when that starts to happen, I try to look at the more immediate. Sometimes I'll look at the more immediate price action and, you know, just draw a zone based on that, because we have a pretty clear support, you know, right around here. And you know, I try to keep them roughly the same size, you know, not too big. But I do like to grab as many validation points as possible, meaning just as many touches from the price action, so it makes a little more sense. So there's nothing there in the immediate term, but we do have this zone that's been a good turning point in terms of shorts. So you know, if you're feeling good about that, you could drop a setup right here. And keep in mind, you do have a couple of pins here that did not respect the zone, so you could keep your stop just above this one, and that way your profit target would still be within the zone here. So I always want to check that my price is precisely in line with my zone. I mean, I know I said earlier it's not precise. These zones are not precise, but I like to stick to my rules, and that's my rules, to draw these zones right where the last high and lows were. So you can see back here, when I first drew this zone, I took the highest high down to the body of the candles. That's normally what I do. You can see it came down and tested. I'd probably still consider that a test. Bounced and then fell back through. But anyway, a zone has still maintained over the course of time. So moving on here, got CAD JPY. So sometimes when I have all these old zones and a lot of them just aren't making sense anymore, I'll just straight up wipe my chart and redraw everything. So there's something here for sure. I start with the tops. And then bottoms. I don't like to go too far back, but maybe we'll stick right here. Let's say there's something right here, excluding this. And then I'll look in the middle, see if there's any good zones available. It's usually pretty messy, but sometimes you'll find a good zone. And if you don't, normally I'll zoom in a little bit and look for some more immediate zones to draw. Which even those don't seem to be pretty clear, very clear right now. So yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta leave stuff alone if you can't find a good zone. Don't want to force it. So moving on. So we had a great setup back here, break and retest, where it broke this very clear resistance zone, tested it, and bounced. If we zoom in a little bit, we also missed pretty solid setup here. And a lot of times I'll go to the top of the wicks with my zone, but if they just seem too high, if they make the zones a little too big, well, maybe that's a good place for that. So we'll see if this bounces. I mean, it's moving a little sideways right now, but that's not always a bad thing. You can see it did that down here as well and eventually recovered. So yeah, nothing there for now. And a lot of times I don't find trades immediately. I'll normally find like one or two, and then I'll just have an hourly alert that alerts me every hour so I can come check the charts and scan through for setups again. So I'm doing this not only once a day, I'm doing this every hour throughout the day, typically. So we have this zone here. It looks like it's pretty good one. Missed out on a break and retest long here. Did shoot up here, and we can probably draw a zone here, something like that. You could think about along there, but it's pretty long ways to drop, and it's not fun trying to catch a falling knife like that if it's coming that far back down. So I don't think I'd look into a trade there until we see, you know, where it goes. So here's another one I'll probably just wipe. Like, these zones just don't make any sense anymore. So this is a pretty obvious triangle. I mean, I don't draw with trends a lot, but yeah, I think this is a pretty obvious triangle. So it's consolidating, which means that, you know, like, you're gonna have a lot of lower highs and higher lows, which makes it difficult to find good zones. So I know a lot of people trade flags like these, and I just haven't implemented, you know, a good strategy for that with my support and resistance zones, so I'll leave that one alone for now. So these zones mostly seem to be holding up for now. I do have a lot of them, but they are being respected. We're getting a bounce here. You could consider a short at this zone. Yeah, you could definitely short that. This one isn't really in a downtrend per se. It's more of, it's kind of moving sideways, it looks like. So I would probably take that short there if I'm feeling good about it. So in this case, probably stick my stop above the highest high, but also above where, you know, this zone meets price, if that makes sense. So as you can see, this popped up and hit where this price met the zone, so I like to just give it a little bit of room there. Although that doesn't give us a very good profit target, so maybe I'll just keep it right around there and hope for the best right there. So yeah, this probably isn't the best trade in the world, but we'll keep it flagged. And I forgot to flag another one we looked at. Let me see if I can find it. Here's one. Okay. Yeah, we'll keep that one flagged. That way we'll know to come back to them when we do our hourly sweeps through our list. So this video is getting long, so I'll just wrap it up quick with crypto. I'll just go to Ethereum. So if you've been noticing these blue zones, these are my 1 minute zones, and these purples are my 1 hour. So if we zoom in on the 1 minute, we can do the exact same thing we've been doing with the hourly. And today's pump kind of makes it difficult, but even in the pump, you can find a zone here. Something like that. And then I just have a setting for my 1 minute zone. So I broke the resistance zone, came back down, tested it, and popped again. So that's exactly, I do the exact same thing on the 1 minute. And I can just get higher volume of trades in. So this one I probably would have been faked out, because I like to start with the high zone. And obviously fell through that and went down to the lower zone. So that might have been the loser, but anyway, that's all I do when I do my TA, and I'll run through most cryptos or some cryptos, just depends on the day. They're usually all have similar price actions, so I'll just look for the best one, the one that has the best setup, because they're not identical but they're similar. So and I'll usually only choose one because I don't want to have all my trades be all losers if the crypto market turns against me. So yeah, hopefully this was a good video. Let me know if you liked it, and we'll leave it there.